Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering Voices. In this podcast, we share unique and empowering stories of authors, entrepreneurs, and changemakers. I'm your host, Melissa Guccione. I'm an author and a client and an official associate of Book Writing Venture. And just real quick, I invite our audience to take a few seconds to subscribe to our podcast here, like and comment if you would. We really appreciate that you do that. We have a lot of beautiful interviews coming up, and we'd like you to join us. Stay with us. So now let's get to the fun part. Today, I'm so excited to introduce a very special guest, a man who is a former professional basketball player turned scout and worldwide recruiter, plus four businesses, if I have that right, who uses his celebrity platform to bring attention to social justice issues. He's now an author, and his first book is the gritty and life-changing memoirs titled All Hadden. So, Mark Hadden, welcome to Empowering Voices podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I feel blessed. Thank you for having me here today.
My pleasure, Hud. My pleasure. Well, I thank you, Mark, for taking time today to share your story and your passions with our audience. Can you just give me a brief overview of what your life is right now? For example, are you married? Do you have kids? Just kind of give me a little overview of what are you doing right now?
This time I am a single man. I guess you can say I'm married to my work, my mission
Yes. Yes.
at this time. That's what I'm married to. But at this time it's doing my mission, doing God's work, and doing the things that God has me doing in this world at this time.
Well, it couldn't be a more valuable and important mission. With throughout time, as we know the stories that God has come in to help, and for those of us who will listen and share. So, first of all, blessings to you. Your heart must be filled up following this path. I know you've had a great many experiences, Mark, but what was like the deciding factor? What was it that really inspired you to make this a real life book, or a book about your true life is a better way to put it?
Thank you for asking. That's a good question. I think in writing this book, God allowed me to be able to live and at a young age be able to tell my story
Mm-hmm.
of life, coming from a small town, being a celebrity early, if you will, and some of the trials and tribulations get to where I am today. A lot of time people look at the so-called finished product or what they see now with the professional basketball playing, scout, and the
Gotcha.
organizations and things of that nature. But they don't understand what came before that. The trials, the tribulations, the things that I had to succumb and go through,
Yes.
and life experiences to be able to tell my story. And of course, when I think about my life and story, God seen a bigger picture that he picked me, that he was going to use my story, my life story, to be able to save generations ahead, generations to come.
Yes.
And, that's why we can't question God and how he does things, because I never, I never thought that, in my words, I was always a great athlete. I felt like I would be playing pro ball and doing those things. But I never thought that God would be using me, my life story, the ups and downs, trials and tribulations, him hardening people's heart to do things to me so that it will save a generation. I mean, it's overwhelming.
Right? How can you know that from where you are when you're going through it? But thank goodness. Well, you must have felt God's presence all along, or maybe most of the time. I know there's times when we are challenged with not feeling that, but I know from some of your notes here, you struggled in early ages, and was God a part of your life? You spent a little time in prison, is that right? And was tell me about how that launched the next part of your life, going through that experience.
Absolutely. I tell you, I mean, God is just amazing, first of all. God allowed me to go to the darkness. God, you know, He was letting me know that you can't save anybody unless I allow you to go see the darkness, see things yourself. So He allowed things to happen in my life, young life, as
Mhm.
I had to visit prisons. I had to be succumb to adversity. Uh, uh, I had basically people in in the town that was against me. Uh, Again, we're talking forces. We're talking generational type things. It gets deep, but God allowed me things to happen where I had to be succumb, like Joseph in the Bible. I had to go to my Pharaoh, if you will. I had to be succumb, if you will, to the enemy for God's work to take place.
Yes,
And
yeah,
I went through those things, and I talked deeply, very transparent about those things, what happened
yes, yes,
when I went, the things that transpired. All for for God, the will of God. You see God's work in it. So so yes, I talk about those things.
yes.
That wasn't the greatest to talk about humanly, but godly, it was fabulous.
Well, and how can we, you mentioned this a little just a moment ago, but how can we really understand somebody else's plight if we have not walked that ourselves? And I know you just said that, but I was just reiterating from the story you told. You had to go through these things. God having you, supporting you along the way, but still you had to take those steps and work through the challenges of that time period. Then we can understand how to help other people because we've actually lived it, we've walked it. There's no other way, is there, Mark? That has to be the way. We have to know what we're dealing with there. um, Let me go back to your book. We haven't gotten into it too much yet, but so basically, this is your life, and you're going through the chapters of your life. This book is ringing bells for all different kinds of people, all genres. And so, how is that making you feel? Crossing all these barriers right here with your beautiful words.
Well, it's again, it's for God to pick my life story. He picked my life story, 56 years uh, of my life, which my age is 56, to save a generation. He picked my story. And not only that, he allowed me to be able, most of the times when you read about different authors, they've passed on. You read about them and they've already passed on.
Gotcha.
But God allowed me at this time to be able to go through 56 years now of my life, the trials, the tribulations, the things that I had to go through, fighting the system, fighting racism, falsely accused, getting dirt thrown on me, if you will. All the time, I'm this guy that people perceived at that time the second coming of Michael Jordan was the guy that was going to be better than Michael Jordan. That's where Air Hadden came from. So all of this, you're talking to 14, 15-year-old kid, you know. So God picked my story. God said, you're going to be bigger than just an NBA player, a guy that done played pro ball. I'm going to use your life. I'm going to send you to different places. I'm going to send you. I'm going to allow you to get incarcerated. I'm going to allow that coach to turn you down over here in Florida, over in Boise State. But ultimately, you're going to be able to teach a generation of people in generations to come, 2025, 2030, and beyond, because I'm going to allow you to go through it. And you're going to be able to teach these young men, these young ladies, how to come out on top of them, because you are going to live. You got to understand that's big. You're going to be able to live to talk about it to them personally.
Well, to set an example is better than words, in my opinion, anyway. Our words are beautiful and they're inspiring and motivating, but to, like we said, doing the walk, setting the example is really where it's at. Somebody can look and see your faith, and see your strength when you're walking those steps, Mark. Yeah, and you were actually in your earlier times, you were actually feeling the presence of God and knowing that these were steps you were, that connected. You could actually kind of hear your path along the way, or were you still, kind of holding a guessing game in your heart?
Well, I talk about it at a younger age. I was always, my mom had us in the church early. And as a 7 year old kid, I knew about Jesus Christ. I knew about God. I knew about having faith in Him. I prayed. I can just remember saying that the only person I fear is God. That's the way I grew up. That I knew that if I had God on my side, we're talking 5, 6 years old, that I was going to be all right.
Yes.
So it was my faith from the beginning. Me learning about Jesus Christ, me knowing that when all things fail,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ got my back. And I talk about this vividly in my book. And that's what allowed me to be able to go through the things that I went through in my life.
Yes.
As early as 7, 8 years old. You got to understand, again, I was penned the next Michael Jordan in the early 1982, 83, before there ever was a Michael Jordan. you, you know, so
There's a few of us that
people
remember
had
life
already
before
pinned me.
Michael, right? I'm sorry I interrupted. Go ahead, Ben.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, no problem. No, the things that I was doing and at that age was just beyond the NBA.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it was a sense the NBA was pretty much going to happen. I was going be a professional
yes.
athlete, which I did become. But God said, listen, I'm going to make I got you for something bigger. You're gonna save you're gonna save a generation. You're going to save generations ahead, not just by signing autographs as a basketball player,
Right.
but you are going to be more than that. You're going to save generations. You're going to be able to go to the jails, the prisons, and in all, I'm going to get the glory. You're going to let them know about me.
Yes.
And because I know that I'm in you as early as when you was born.
Yes.
I know you're going to give me the praise and glory. And
Yeah.
that's who's going to get it.
God, I said God, and I meant it. Thank God. Oh, that felt good.
Yes.
That felt so good. While we're on feeling good, so your true life story out there in the world. What do you think your true life story, all Hadden, will ultimately do for the world? What is it you feel that the world needs right now that your experience can bring?
Good question. A very easy to answer. We need life. We need hope. And with all had, with all due respect to other books, authors, my book touches the world. And I must say this is bigger than me. I mean, when I get to how this book was written, how God came to me to write this book, I can just tell you it wasn't just my fingers writing. It wasn't just me talking to, in recordings with Dave Blake and book writing ventures. It was God leading me. And that's why in my book, I go verbatim to where I was, what was going on at that time, and how God was leading me. All Hadden saves the world, with all due respect. And with the generations now, with what we're seeing in our world today, people not having hope,
Right.
not just in sports or things, it's sports or any business, but it's to live now, living. You know, we're reading about people that's killing themselves daily. They're giving their lives up um, to the system, whether that be incarceration or putting themselves in situations where they're drinking themselves to death, killing themselves, giving up. That's what our worldwide, that we're faced with. What all Hadden does is let a general of people know that this is what Mark Hadden went through. And there was trials coming from you guys got to understand, I come from a small city in the northern Fort Pierce called, in northern Florida, called Fort Pierce, Florida. It's dubbed the nickname, and you guys can Google this. It's the city of no pity.
Oh,
It's called the city of no pity. And believe
ouch.
me, they mean that. There's no pity. And, you know, all I wanted to do in my life was to save my city of Fort Pierce, save the people.
Yes.
I was a young kid. And so I had to be succumb, being a black man at that time, as you can see with my business, America Coalition. I fight against racial equality. I didn't like people being done wrong.
Yes.
I spoke out against the so-called elite,
Yes.
the powers to be, and they came after me. They came after me, and so there's things that wasn't comfortable that I had to talk about in my life. Even in my early professional career, I had to go through what Kobe Bryant. You guys remember the late great Kobe Bryant when he was falsely accused of rape. Uh, uh, you know, I had to deal with such, and I talked vividly about that. Um, yeah, there was powers to be that was behind it. They was going, it was told to me, we're going to shut that black man up for using the N word. Those was the things that I had to go through, and um, to have
And,
God with me.
and yes, wow. Nobody should have to go through that. They brought you through. I think I'd like to hear a little more. You said about how this book came to you when God was talking to you. Let's get into that just a little more because why else would we be here to hear about your experience with God and your book? So tell us, you said the interesting parts of how that really came into manifestation.
Well, um, God allowed me to um, God allowed me and said that, Mr. Hadden, through your life, I'm going to take you through trials and tribulations um, for you to go through. Uh, from a small town in Fort Pierce, uh, God moved me to a place maybe an hour from Fort Pierce, which was Stewart Martin County. Uh, he allowed the coach by the name a white man, and at this time it was shown upon the racial thing. If it's a white man, it's got to be something to it, this type stuff. And God saw the unknown. He saw what people would say wasn't normal to save me. And I was 17 years old. And I had no idea that my people in my own town was trying to destroy me.
Right.
Trying to destroy what I stood for, trying to destroy what God has given me as a basketball player, as a one of the great athletes ever. And God allowed me to go through things, but again, God is bigger than life, and what he clearly, now I can see it, and I can say this now,
Yeah.
was saying to me was that I'm going to allow the opposition. I'm going to allow you to visit a jail. I'm going to allow you to go through some things.
Yes.
I'm going to allow you to transfer schools. I'm going to allow you to get some dirt thrown on you, if you will. But it's going to be only for my glory. At the end of the day, you're going to be able to tell a genre of people
Yes.
that you can make it. Here's my story. Look what I went through.
Yes.
And there's nothing like going through the experience of what I went through early in my life to where I am today. And it's more to come. But
Oh,
where
yes.
I
Oh,
am
there's plenty
today,
more, isn't there? Oh, there's plenty more. You know, we're
absolutely.
we're at the starting point here, really fully understanding. If I may, I want to ask a little about the process of God. Do you hear Him in words or feelings, or was there like a word exchange as you were praying, or more of a feeling to guide you, pushing you towards, like to make choices? How was that?
It was actually both. I'm a guy, I do a lot of meditation.
Mm,
And before I make moves and do things, I meditate. I talk to God.
mm,
I sometimes allow, and then I get into my room and I cut off the lights and I speak. And I ask God, okay, you know, I need you to protect me. What's the next move? And
yes.
these things. And I think what people are going to see in my book is that during the time of turmoil, you're going to see me turn and put my face to God and say, Lord,
Yes.
what's next? Help me. You got me here, when I didn't know nothing what was going on.
Yes.
And he led me to the next steps. It
Yes.
was like he was saying, okay, I got you to step 3. It's time for step 4. And I'm
And
going to harden some people. I'm going to harden some people's heart. We got to understand, doesn't nothing happen without God's approval. So God will allow us to go through some things that, well, they may think that they're hurting us, but God is using it for good.
building our strength. in the meantime. That's how we
Absolutely.
do. That's it. So we listen. Hopefully, I'm trying to get better at that myself. I realize sometimes I ask for help and then maybe I don't listen all the way. So I'm working on that meditation as well. So I get in that quiet place where I can listen to the voice or the inspiration of God. A lot more of a graceful outcome when I do that. A lot more graceful, isn't it? Uh,
Absolutely.
well, for most people, writing a book is a pretty big undertaking, unless you're already, a published author or something. Although, you've been in the limelight and in, center stage for most of your life. But those, you have interviews, sound bites, things like that. So writing a book really stretches out the words and the things that you can share with the audience. So, can you walk us through a little, like, was it challenging actually writing the book and getting your feelings down on paper?
The last part again, you cut out.
Oh, so sorry. Okay. Were there any challenges as you were actually physically writing the book during that time? Or did you face any real challenges with, getting your thoughts and feelings down into the book form?
I didn't. And I
Nice.
tell you, you know, I will all and I can say this, I'm going back into the 90s, when I felt like now the devil was at me to destroy
Mhm.
me. I can remember being incarcerated, and I'm talking to God and saying, Lord, why do you have me here?
Mhm.
Um, what is this about? And it would be like I'm talking to you. God will put over me, start writing, start writing. Started my book. Listen, I never had no idea. I never thought that I would ever be an author of a book. I never dreamed that.
Mhm.
Um, it never came to me until that time where God was telling me, stop worrying about what's going on around you. You're not going, I'm going to get, I'm letting you go through this so that you can save other inmates. You can save other people. You can understand that this happens to other people. And see, God knows my heart. He knows that I'm going to fight. And once I see a bully or someone being taken advantage of or not getting opportunity, God knows the way He made me.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knew ACAP was going to come about, the American Coalition was going to come about, all the things that you see me doing now. And of course, these athletes from all over the world
Yes.
that I'm putting in place, NBA, NFL. I'm the guy that's called upon by the biggest people in the world. And I always thought it was just be me as an athlete.
Sure.
So God said, sit down, be quiet, and write. And I was able to go verbatim. My book starts from March 6th, 1968, when I was born,
Okay.
10:45 p.m., Florida time. My book starts from March 6th, 1968 to where I am today, and show them the scope
Yeah.
of, we're going to start here. I'm writing the book. Now, get this. In the book, things was going on then in the courthouse. There's civil litigation going on now that's in my
Yeah.
favor of things that was done to me. I can't go into detail now.
Okay.
That's going to be an all Hadden too.
Yeah.
There's going to be all Hadden too. There would
Yeah.
definitely be an all Hadden too.
Yeah.
But even when I was writing of my life going from 68 in the 90s and in 2000 and me starting this book, 2022,
Mm-hmm.
23, coming into 24, things I was meeting with book writing ventures and telling them verbatim what I wanted written as things was going on. That's how powerful this
Yes.
book is. Because it was like it was like I would be doing a chapter talking about something that happened a day ago. I would be doing a chapter to my writers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I knew God was in it, that God was pushing me for
Yeah.
something big.
Yeah.
And this is why I can get with the people that have heard of me, that know me. There's nothing that you can't tell me. I've seen it. I've been through it. A lot of people don't understand that I had a system against me. I come from a town again, city of no pity. I want people to get that in their head.
Right.
There
You
is no
got it.
pity in this city. Our population was like 1,500 of what? 1,500 people. This I'm in the 70s, so people don't understand that the trials that I
Yeah.
was going through as a black man and as a, let's say, a confident black man, that was shown upon back in the 80s,
Yeah.
a black man, a black boy being confident. And I
Imagine
was.
that. I just
Yeah.
oh.
And so I had a
Excited.
father that told me I was great,
Oh,
that told me that
beautiful.
I can make it. He's 92 years old now as we speak. He's on his back. He can't walk, but you would never know it. You would think that he's the happiest guy in the world. I know there's times he's hurting, but he's so strong here. He's
And here.
he's got a will to live. Absolutely. 92 years old. Can't even take care of himself. And I have to see this today. And so there's no way a system or people trying to come after me and slander my name could hurt
Mm-hmm.
me when I got a father like that I have to see now, that's 92 years old, and that smile just as big as my smile as we speak.
How beautiful.
So
Just I know the love and the courage and the family dedication, all of that, so beautiful. And all of that you're sharing through your story, it sounds like. um I saw that you were already on a lot of social media, from your website and everything. So obviously you're getting the word out. You have a pretty big following, so that's helping. um is there is there anything else that you think that might help get this book into people's hands out there in the world? Because you're already taking a lot of steps. So is there some new steps or next steps that might help get this book out there in the world?
absolutely, and great question. Um, God has put into my heart and my spirit and has made a way for me that my word, and when I say God's word, I'm talking about all Hadden because it's his word.
Yes.
I'm the person that went through it, and God allowed to go through it. But you see God's word, you see
Yes.
God's word in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So what God has allowed me to do is that we there was a hurricane. We experienced some hurricanes in Florida, so it knocked some things out of me traveling.
Okay.
I had to go see about my father during the hurricane and things of that nature. But to get the word out, to get all Hadden in people's hands, to save a generation, we will be traveling to all 50 states.
Really?
We will be traveling to all the cities in the United States of America. You would not believe the calls that I get of people
Oh my
saying, I
goodness.
need to see you. I need you to come here and sign the book.
Mm-hmm.
and I would buy 100. I just need to see you and get those kind of wanting to physically see me, physically take pictures, physically me sign autographs. And so, God has touched me to give the people what they want. I will be traveling starting January 2025. I will be traveling to every state in America, all 50. The Virgin Islands have already picked up on the book and they're wanting it. And I will be going from city to city, getting God's word out, I would like to say. It's not about all Hadden because there's so many young kids, young people
Yes. Yes.
that's giving up, that
Yes.
have went through trials that don't know what to do.
Right.
God, and you
Right, babe.
believe,
Yeah.
then you'll find the light like Mark Hadden did.
Oh man, it is the let's see if we have a name real quick for it. We're going to go All Hadden All American Tour, something like
Ooh, I love
that. That's what you've got that
that
coming.
now. You wanted something. I love that.
Ah, I
Yes,
like
yes.
that is aggressive marketing there, but wow, powerful. That in person, like
Yeah.
you said, you got your energy there. You've already lived the things. That's going to be a fabulous year for you. I'm going to be following you, and I'll invite you to come to my small town in Ashland, Oregon. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
got to stop in the little
Absolutely.
small mountain town of Ashland.
Yes, yes, yes,
Heck
absolutely.
yeah. Okay, let's see. I have another question for you, kind of in that. Oh, just in the additional marketing things, I always look to see if a book has an audible book. I didn't see one unless I missed it, but this is my favorite part. I am such a big fan of Audible. It has saved my life many, many times just by getting my mind, off of the distraction of the world and back into something in my heart. So I always like to bring that up and just say, have you thought about maybe doing something with the Audible version?
And I'm open to it. I've talked with Dave about that.
Oh, good.
Um, yes, that's our next move.
That's a
Book writing adventure have been good to me. And I must say, and I got to tell you this, uh, when they were helping me write my book, the front cover wasn't my first choice.
okay.
And I'm holding the book up. All had my first choice was actually the back page. I liked the white suit,
Ah,
and it puts me in the sense of doves, angels,
I
and
see.
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted on the front page. And I, when we was getting to put together and stuff, and
Right, right.
book writing ventures, they've always been good to me. Dave said to me, Mark, there's another picture that you have that I think would be the best for that front cover. And I can remember saying, well, you can send it, Dave, but I'm going with the dove. I'm going with the angel white.
Right.
It's okay. He said, well, I'm going to send it. I'm going to tell you, he sent me the front cover of this book with the basketball rim.
Mhm.
And I got it, when I looked at it, and I looked at the the emotions in I can remember the picture. It was one of my
Oh, oh,
my proudest moments.
yes.
Um, and he had the basketball in the bag, and I stared at it about 15 minutes. I think he texted me and said, "What do you think?" And I took another 5 minutes, and I called him. I said, "You hit the nail. That's it." I said, "That's it." That's
Put
it.
your
So
put your book up in front of the screen a little, the camera a little bit. There it is. There he is. That's very good. Thank you. All right.
yes, I tell you, I got to give Dave credit. He was the one that came up with that book cover, and what it does for me when I see it, I see God.
Oh.
Because
Whew.
you got to realize Mr. Hadden been through some things.
Yes.
And a lot of time people look at, this guy is with Michael Jordan. He's coaching, he's scouting, he's going around the world. He dresses nice. And
He
they're
dresses nice. Look at you.
but
You're you're sweet.
they're looking at all these things, but they
Gotcha.
don't understand what the ever see me. And we hear having the faith of a mustard seed.
Hmm.
I would like to think that I had a little more faith in the mustard seed, but because I had faith in God throughout the times where I felt like I can die, I could these devils can give me 20 years, these
Hmm.
or take my life. Uh, I was in prison with Hitler's rappers, murderers died there. But even there, and I
Hmm.
got to see this story, I
Okay.
was the best, my greatest coaching. I've coached summer league in the NBA. I've coached some of the best players in the world. I got some young players. I got a kid from Sudan is going to be an NBA player that I'm counting that's going to be in the NBA after LeBron James and these guys leave. They're going to be
Okay.
my players.
Wow.
I can tell you this. When God allowed the adversary to send me to a prison.
Mm.
Now, when you hear prison, I've only been once, and it was God saying to me, "I'm gonna show you what goes on there." We all hear the bad stories of people killing, murders, and all these terrible things that happen in prison. But when I came, do you understand that the inmates, my best coaching job was
Ah.
in prison.
Ah.
I coached. I had them
Ah.
running around.
Oh man.
I had them running around the trails,
No
doing
kidding.
push-ups, shooting 1,000 shots. Oh man, they say the wars they never seen anything like it ever. And I tell you, God allowed me to be there to save those inmates' lives.
Your your energy, your God coming through your energy, you're a coach. I guess that's who you are. That's really part of who you are, to help and teach other people with love and guidance and strength. That's what a coach does.
Absolutely.
Shows them the way because they're walking it themselves, honey. That's so inspiring and beautiful. I'm sure your heart just sings telling that story every time. It must. Oh.
And I think about in this book was to let the people that I love the most, the people that love me,
Hmm.
let them know the truth. Because a lot of times, people will slander your name. People will have bad things said about you.
Sure.
And I have so many people
Exactly.
around the world country that I've brought up. A lot of times when they was hearing that Coach Hadden, they call me Coach, Mr. Hadden is in jail, and they there was lies, there was slander,
Oh,
there was
sure.
things to slander my name,
Yeah.
saying that I was a criminal and things of that nature. God built me to be strong. I can accept it. And I know the mission, and I know that there is going to be adversary. But what hurted me the most, and I was still going through, but in writing this book, I was able to get this now that they can read and know the true story. Gotcha. Because I don't think a lot of them did know, because they was hearing lies, things negative about Mark Hadden, their coach. And I wanted, now I was able to not only tell them about the situation, and I got to say this date, June 18, 1997. That was the time when I was falsely accused. Okay. And it was a setup by the police. It goes deep. And that's why I want people to read the book. Yeah. Where they had this girl to tell, she lied about her age. And they had me, it was a setup. Damn. But all the evidence would show there was never, and I'm going to tell you how good God is. Yes. I could have fell for it because I thought I was with a duck. I did think I was with a duck girl. And I could have had a sexual act with her, thinking that I was with a duck. Not knowing they done set up this 16-year-old. Let me tell you how good God is. He allowed me, during the setup, he allowed me not to get into the act right away. He put down in my head. It was like something that kept telling me, hey, hold up. It was enough to where when these setup people came, yes, they already had expected that, yeah, he done had sex with this girl.
Right, it would have been done.
Yeah, there's no, can't say I didn't know her age anymore. There's no defense to that, which is wrong. God allowed it not to get to that point. And when it finally hit me what they had done and tried to do, I just thank God. I said, oh yes, my God, it was a setup. So most of the people, what they were reading, or what some of the things they were seeing on the website, sex offender and things of this nature, was false. It was false. So I was able to chronicleize and give depositions in the book where they can go back now and see they did Coach wrong. They did set Coach
yes. Up. Thank goodness for the truth. That is why one of the things in America we fight to keep. We must have freedom of speech. The world has shown us how important it is.
And unfortunately, and as you know, I mean, the truth is the truth. Being a Black man, yeah, we're talking 90s. They were going to try to make me look bad. They was going to try to falsely accuse me, which they did. But God, that's all I can say. That's why I want people to read the book. They know the truth now. I got kids now that's watching us right now as we do this interview. Right. That I've coached when they was young. They're 40 years old now, got kids.
That's fabulous.
They know the truth now. They know the ins out, because I couldn't talk about it 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. I couldn't come up to them and talk to them about it. But now all Hadden tells them.
This is good. That needs to come out. We need to bring this fresh, clean truth, authenticity. And that's what we need to share with the world. And people are starving for that, these energies, the confidence that you bring. Tell me, Mark, what would you suggest to other writers who are maybe considering, putting together a work of their own? How would you say that book writing ventures help you? Would you encourage other people to seek that out if they felt like they needed help with their books?
Well, absolutely. And again, I could talk from experience. They saved my life.
Mm.
because now I can talk about my life. I
Yes.
still got 50, 60 more years to live. I'm going to be here a while.
Good.
And what I was able to do from my birth to
To now.
now, tell my story to now. It would not have happened if it wasn't for book writing adventures, them getting with me and
Mm.
understanding the mission. You got to understand, they
Yes.
had to understand that, listen, this has to be on time, it has to be on point, and uh, the story have to be told. And
Yes.
when you read my book, you will see I'm very transparent. I didn't leave out anything. And yes, I had to talk about things that wasn't the nicest to talk about, but it's the truth. It's
Yes.
part of my life. It's part of my history. I went through it, but I didn't allow the adversary to stop me. And this is what I've always preached to my players, that you don't allow nothing to stop you, no matter if it's family, friend, wife, girlfriend, and if it's family, get away from it. You can love people. You can
Uh,
love people from afar.
yeah.
You can love people from afar, and that's what I stress. So,
I know
um,
sometimes those family connections are the most impenetrating on our own, path. And to love and keep walking our own way is difficult, but sometimes necessary. And it doesn't mean, that path will not come back again. That you circle around and meet up, my family or your friends at another time, maybe. But we don't have to worry about what's down the road right there. Do we want to be right here? That's where we hear God is in this moment. And
and that's why we got to put God first, part and foremost, because the adversary will get into people that we love the
yeah,
most. Turn on the and I had to talk about this, and it all had to. When the book
yes,
came out, things didn't get easy. There was jealousy. You would not believe when my book came out. That was 6 months ago. It quickly went viral, 5-star. People was talking about it, and I had people in my own family wasn't pleased. I had to go through that family jealousy. This is my family, and so I said, "Oh my goodness!" So
yes.
you know, I've started writing about it already, and this probably be something I do next year, a couple years now. But right now, it's about all had one
Yes, it
and getting the
is.
word out, saving these young men and these young ladies and the world. It ain't just for student athletes. This mom, dad, uncle, nephew, grandmother, people that have been incarcerated,
Mhm.
that's coming out in the world, they get a chance to see Mark Hadden going through those things and
Yes.
winning.
Well, I did want to ask if there's something that you feel like you want to say to our listeners out here. Is anything, are you inspired to share anything here, Mark, with our listeners this afternoon?
Yes, I like to uh, all people that have ears, never give up, never give up, and you know a lot of times we'll never understand. And listen, we have to do this. Whatever God you believe in, you have to
Yeah.
ask God, what is my mission? What is my course? What do you have for me in life? And let God show you. Because I thought it was going to be pro basketball and multi-billions of dollars and the Nets, Michael Jordan and his air
Right.
had. Lord, God said, no, I got to, you're going to be a pro. I'm going to allow you to be a pro because I gave you the talent. But you're going to be much bigger than that, Mark Hadden. There's a generation coming after you in
Yes.
2025, 2025, 2030. And I'm going to have you around. And I'm going to need you to let them know what you know, that have faith in me, and I will bring you out of anything. So I'm going to allow the adversary to take you to a prison. I'm allow the adversary not to give you that scholarship. I'm allowed things to happen to you like it happened to you at this school, just to show them that when God is with you,
That's it.
no man can be against you. No doors can be closed that God opened. So I want everyone to know, put your trust and faith in God and never ever give up. No matter what you go through, no matter what trials, no matter what city. And I get this a lot. Kids come from cities like, and city of no pity.
Yes.
It's not about the city. It's you. And God will go get the kid from Sudan. We know what those people are going through over there.
Jeez.
And God is will prepare for them to come here and go to school. And this why he said, brother, I got to have my brother Hadden out here ready, because
Yes.
he's going to fight for the fightless, if you will. So never give up. That's my thing. Never give up, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to have adversity. You're going to have people that's going to be jealous, envy, and going to slander your name like they did mine.
Yes.
But overall, you will win if you keep God first.
I believe so too, truly. Just a song popped in my head, which happens quite often. Are you familiar with Don't Knock by Mavis Staples by any chance?
You've heard of it.
Oh, well, it's worth looking up. And it's just, in that song, she's just talking about you don't have to knock, you don't have to do anything. God just says, just walk right in. And and then it talks in the song a little, it talks about having struggles. Of course we do. That's what we do down here on earth, is we have to work through those. But the whole time, all the way through life's winding roads, God's right there. If you just God doesn't make you wait, you just walk right in. And yeah, look that song up, Don't Knock, Mavis Staples. You'll really enjoy that.
I will.
And,
I will. I will.
well, this has been such a good time. It's been such a pleasure meeting you, Mark Hadden. You have a most, wow, what's the word? I need an adjective right here. You have the most interesting background. You have an even brighter future walking forward for your new All Hadden All American tour, and to get the word out there for people of all ages. I'm so happy for you and proud of you as a man and a human being. And thank you. God bless you. Thank you for being here on the show. You do have a website. So I believe it's markhadden.org. Is that correct?
Yes, markhadden.org is my website. And we will be touring starting January 2025.
Okay.
We will be going to every state in America, all 50 states, including cities. I think it's over 4,000. My assistant told me we will be making stops. We will make it worldwide. We will be signing autographs. Taking pictures, signing books.
Sure,
and
just hugging people, and just
yes. and I'm going, and I just really want people to understand it's about God. It's bigger than Mark Hadden. My story is to save a genre of people, with letting you know, no matter what you went through, no matter what the adversary or the powers to be
yes,
have
yes,
tried to do to you, that if you got God with you, can't nobody be God. Can't nobody be God. And if he's on your side, he's going to bring you through anything that the adversary can try to throw at you. And that's why I can understand now why God allowed me to go to a jail,
absolutely.
to go to a prison. to deal with this. I can accept it. I can accept it now, and just thank God for even choosing me to
Yes.
be able to represent Him.
Right. Oh, what? Yeah. Thankful every minute. Gratitude and thanks for the path that you're moving forward on, honey. Again about your book. Also Amazon. I'm guessing, right? It's on Amazon. Maybe Barnes and Noble. I'm not sure about that, but they'll find you. Okay, we'll make sure that your links are in the comments here too.
Yeah.
And well, we look forward to this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Please do. Please do.
Okay.
Yes, please do. I know it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon, and
Okay.
what we're doing now with I have a stock of the books myself,
Good.
where I will be going personally, state to state, with the books
Okay.
in my trunk or in my trucks, and delivering the books myself.
That's going to be a great tour. Wow.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. Well, thanks. Hold on one second. I'm going to just talk to the listeners out there and say thank you for joining us on our podcast on Empowering Voices. Again, we have change makers, entrepreneurs, authors out here sharing their missions and their visions for the world. Please remember also to subscribe to our channel and click the notification button and stay informed of our upcoming episodes. There's so much here with Book Writing Venture and Empowering Voices that we want to share with you. In each episode, we will continue to explore the book writing process as we spotlight each author's stories of inspiration and success. So again, if there's any comments for Mark, you guys leave them right in there. If you have any questions for me, I'll make sure that my email is down in there as well. You can connect with me directly. So we're excited to see how our talented crew at Book Writing Venture can help you build your story, your course, your novel. Think of things, a series of books. Boy, I wish I had a few more examples, but we've got them. We've got them. So come on over and take a look with us, you guys. So thanks again for spending this time with us today. I am your host, Melissa Guccione. And until next time, remember, we are your partners for success. So please always dream big, everybody. Cheers. Thank you, Mark.